Welcome to our continuing coverage on the ISB show of the European World Cup qualifiers, UEFA region. Rahi, we've reached the point in time where we would say it's coming home would be the themes. We have reached the England group. But. So let me read some of the teams on this group. So there's Andorra, Latvia, and then, did I read that right? Is that Serbia and Albania in the same group?
My goodness. This group is effectively a war.
What FIFA official decided to put these two teams? What UEFA official allowed this to happen?
Yeah, this seems like a ticking time bomb. This seems like a bad idea.
Yes.
We've seen what happens when Serbia plays Switzerland, who has some Kosovans on the team, and that really heats up. I can't imagine what Serbia when they actually play Albania.
Well, we've seen it. Are you forgetting that the game?
Oh, with the drone. The one with the drone.
The drone game. You forgot the drone game.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Drone game. Yeah. So for those of you who are not aware, there was a, if you don't watch on YouTube, for those of you who are not aware, there was a notorious game between these two teams, where there was chaos, to say the least. Fans attacking players and stuff. Effectively,
it got out of hand. There was a drone carrying a flag, effectively, that made it onto the field, and that's what set everything off.
Exactly right, and had very political undertones in that flag, and it was just a mess. And obviously, anyone can tell you this is not the purpose of this video, but the tension between Serbia and Albania. So that being said, and I probably should have phrased this differently in terms of like for this particular group, but we've been following this segment, so I'm going to continue doing it. And of course, is this the group of death or group of life?
I mean, on that front, it's very easy to call this the group of death for multiple reasons. We won't get into it, but it is also a challenging group, not for England, but as you go down the line, it gets complicated. England seems to get Serbia a lot in these groups. They know how to play these teams now. They didn't used to in the past. This iteration of England can play with Serbia, with Albania, and they can dispatch them pretty easily. This is a very competent English team in the way that they qualify for tournaments, which they didn't used to do. They really walk through qualifiers, and I think they're going to do that in this case. So it's competitive beyond England, and that's why I say it's not a group of life. But for England, it's easy.
So I'm calling it a group of life because I just think there's like separation, in this group, in the sense that, I think the bottom two teams are
Latvia,
kind of on one side, Latvia and Andorra. England's on one side. And then really, I think the two teams sandwiched in the middle, Serbia and Albania, are kind of on the same pace. So from that perspective, I think I'll call it a group of life. But okay, so who should we be watching in this particular group? Who are the top players to watch?
This is going to be an obvious answer, but for me, it's Cole Palmer, because this is a player who set the Euros on fire, did that by coming off the bench, right? Now he's got a new manager, a manager who, let's see, and what can he set a tournament on fire? Can he be the starter? Can he be the player that we think he can be? He's been good for Chelsea, but he hasn't having the same year that he had last year, right? So the question becomes, was that a blip, right? Was that Cole Palmer, super sub Cole Palmer, game-changing Cole Palmer? Is he going to be England savior Cole Palmer? We shall see.
Yes. That's a good pick, even though it's one that probably people have heard of. I'm going to go with one that maybe people have not heard of, and that is the Albanians, Mr. Aslani.
Yeah.
Christian Aslani on Albania. And the reason being is, he's obviously on Inter, but hasn't really played that, regularly. But he's a fantastic player when he actually gets onto the pitch, in my opinion. And I've seen what he's done for Albania. He doesn't just score goals. He only scores golazos, this guy, for Albania. And I'm looking forward to seeing him play in this group. So that is my pick. And now on to the ISB predictions segment. We're gonna say England gets first. I think that's safe to say, right?
Yeah, I agree.
England gets first. We haven't really talked about Serbia that much in this video, but Serbia's always has talent, right? They're always talent. A little bit older, like some of the players now, but always talent on the team. So I think the core question between Serbia, Albania, Latvia, Andorra, who gets second in the group?
Yeah.
All right, this is the write-in segment, so you gotta write it in. This is hard. This is quite hard, actually.
This is difficult. It is difficult.
Yeah. All right. What do you have? Reveal. Oh, he's got Serbia, and I have Albania for those there. Okay. Go ahead. Why do you think it's Serbia?
For me, it's the three up front. The three up front, still maybe a little older now, but incredible, right? Those three up front, and I'm talking about Mitrovic, I'm talking about Dusan Vlahovic and Tadic.
Okay.
Three, I think, are deadly, despite not being in their peak form. I guess none of them you'd say. But they're just really good players and they play well together, and it's hard to defend against them. And I think that's the reason that I have Serbia finishing second.
Okay. Interesting. I saw what happened in the Euros, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw what happened in the Nations League to Albania. And I almost saw two slightly different teams in a sense, right? A very good campaign, despite, not getting out of the group for in the Euros. And
very good campaign.
Yeah, very good campaign. And a not so good campaign in the recent Nations League. So that's why I was on the fence, because I'm like, which edition of this team is going to show up, right? But I think I see enough in there with these players, with Aslani, with Broja, with these guys who have the ability on their day to nick a result. And realistically, I'm looking at this. They really only need to nick a result in two very important matches that are there, right? I think they're going to beat Andorra, and I think they're going to beat Latvia, and they're going to lose to England. So realistically, there's two matches. And if you ever needed motivation to get through in those two matches, it's right here. So I think that's it's going to come on to those two matches, and I think Albania gets more points out of those two matches than Serbia does.
They will be motivated. That's for sure.
Yes. So, all right, fans out there, keep it civil and let us know who gets through in this group between England, Serbia, Albania, Latvia, and Andorra. And as always, keep watching the beautiful game as we continue our World Cup qualifier predictions.